So my next point that I'm going to touch on is actually how to and why to react to managerial information. So most of us probably have some sort of business or career meetings that we're involved in. We're part of a team where actually the aim is to create a sustainable business that does its thing and works well and produces a profit and delivers great stuff for customers. And what's quite funny is that actually when you, again, talk about business books or business courses or whichever, they all talk about how to sell more and how to promote more and how to basically grow a business. And that is exactly what I cover on the Roadmap MBA. But what's quite funny is that for most companies, if you have revenue, over time, yes, you want to grow it. And there are always things that you can do to help put in place, and this could be policies, procedures, new marketing materials, websites, sales tracking, management features, finance meetings, whatever. There's lots of stuff, and again, we cover it all in the course that you can implement to help improve performance. But sometimes things don't go to plan, and actually what you need to do is take that information, process it, pivot, and decide what to do next before you kind of move forward, because it's not always 100% towards the goal, growth. And one of the things that I just wanted to kind of talk about is that when we all have the ability to make decisions in business, often we go for the high growth option where we want to increase sales or take on that contract, which is slightly more risky, but actually you have higher rewards. So actually, if you want faster growth, you have increased risk, lower growth, lower risk. And it's funny actually, what almost got to mind, I'm still waiting for Matthew Ward to pop up. Matthew normally comments most weeks, is that I actually think that business in many ways is like golf. And the reason is that yes, you can go for the big drive, you can go for the big hit and try and get round in as fewer shots as possible. But occasionally when things go wrong or cash becomes a little bit tighter and or just things happen. You might have some staff issues. Someone could be on paternity leave. It could be one of 100 different things. It was almost just a mindset difference that yes, you might be on this high growth path and things will really work and you're growing the company. It's going really well. But actually, sometimes it's okay to play back to the fairway, steady the ship, just figure out where you're at, what makes you comfortable, get controlled again, and actually level off and then accelerate again. You don't always have to be full on attack all the time. And it's that kind of thing, just the ability and the decision to actually say, look, guys, I know that we have a plan to grow the company by 20% this year. And we've got all these sales KPIs and stuff. But actually for the next month or the next 2 months, what we're going to do is steady the ship, get all of our ducks in order, get our operations running, get everything kind of working as good as it humanly can. And then once we've done that and once we're over the rough patch, then we accelerate again. And one way to do that is that when you have, if you're involved in any management or finance kind of meetings, you obviously track your profit and loss every month. So you get to see your obviously revenue, your gross profit, your net profit, any costs on different things. And especially in like a project-based business, which if you look at revenues over time, if you had a Coca-Cola that sells a lot of stuff every single day and it'd be quite predictable, Coca-Cola's revenue is probably fairly constant over the course of a year because they have 100 million retailers in 100 countries, and actually their revenue will be pretty standard. With a project-based business and also smaller kind of businesses, you might have nothing, massive spike, nothing, spike. But then what that does, it creates issues to do with cash flow that, for instance, if you are to conduct that project and actually do that stuff, you actually have to often buy the stuff before you sell for it. So you have probably costs there, but then your payment for this might not come until here. And when you're actually looking at your payment terms in terms of how you actually, complete these contracts and do stuff, if you suddenly become worried about cash flow because of a major project that you've won, so the business is doing really well, but actually just things change, you need that feedback mechanism to actually be able to say from finance to sales and vice versa, look, I think we just hold back for a little bit, get our ducks in order, get our cash in before we keep going for these big hitter projects. And in the golf analogy, it's almost just a little chip back onto the fairway, just to be back in safe ground before you then try and drive again, rather than trying to hit out the trees. And it was just this kind of thing that I'd never seen it particularly in any management or growth books. The concept of almost take the information and decide to slow down, get composed, and then accelerate again, or put things on hold or whichever. And it's that feedback mechanism is really important. And I can't remember what page it's on. It's the end of module 6. There's a double page spread on how to become world class. And it was taken from a report that Bain did, which was all, so a global kind of consultancy about best practice. And what you really want is that management and the information flow up and down a business to really kind of help educate everyone so everyone makes the same decisions. Because what often happens is that you will get direction from often the company directors that say, look, we want 20% growth and we want it regardless. Or you might hear back that production is a bit slow at the moment, so we really need sales. So what that can do is make sales actually make different decisions based on the feedback that they're getting for the business. But then that can have a longer impact. But the point is, it's the management flow of information up and down the company at all levels is really, really important just to help you grow. And what I want to do is just talk about it because you often don't see it. I apologize for how messy the scribble is, but hopefully that kind of makes sense. I'm just going to check back to the comments. Look at this fancy setup. Hi, Kennedy. So Kennedy, I don't have the hair that you have or the personality or the podcast. So what I do is just make the best of what I have with cameras and stuff. If you don't know Kennedy, the mind reader, he has an excellent email podcast called the Email Marketing Show. I believe, if I got that wrong, please kind of comment. Really good guy, really interesting, very specialist in his area. Really interesting guy as well, so please kind of follow Kennedy as well. And Denise, yes, I know you're not a golfer, but the analogy of the safe chip back onto the fairway, it's not getting you further forward, but it's just playing safe for a certain amount of time, is something that, a lot of business people do like golf. I'm kind of on the fence. I probably haven't played for about 2 years now. But hopefully that analogy still kind of works just to explain. Sometimes it's okay to kind of slow down, take your time, and then just, move forward. It doesn't have to be 100% flat out all the time. Cool.